With this video, I hope to tie the whole explanation, or as good as I can get, of the intersection of a visual reality, the photographic, the televisual, and possibly the cosmic, in portal form, which contains all three qualities of any kind of portal, visual, in the visual sense, in the visual realm. So I'm not going to explain this too much. You can just look at it and freeze it and look over each part of it as much as you want to. Look over each part and read it. So this is my model, my smaller photographic portal model. And it doesn't have no doors where somebody can walk inside because it doesn't need it. It's just a model. It's a proof of concept. It's not going to be an amusement park or anything like that. Not yet. Hope someday maybe. But this is a photo cue. This is what is used in the place of the model to take the pictures through. You take them at there's 54 pictures in all. You take them at 3 different angles. 3 different basic angles. The faces, which you got to have centered, which I need to get this fixed a little bit more. It has to be perfectly centered. You take the face, 1 picture for each face, 6 faces, 2 pictures, and you got to split this up and widen it out and morph it. You don't do anything. You don't do any morphing with the faces, but you do start doing it with the edge on views. You take the picture as best you can. You morph it out each side of this picture across the red bar, and then you do these all over these edges, 12 edges, 2 images for each edge on view. Then right here is corner angle views, and they require 3 squared images, and you take them across the red bars that separate them, and you stretch them out square, morph them out square. And the morphing is greater as you move from the edge on views to the corner angle views, because it has to match the foreshortening effect that's produced. If you didn't morph the images, it wouldn't blend in perfectly. That's one aspect, the blending in cloak of the outer photographic portal. You copy these images twice, one for the outside and one for the inside holodeck, and this is a proof of concept. It won't have a high resolution, but it would drive the principles home. You would have a backdrop holodeck of the outside environment. You would have a interior volumetric holographic display of whatever object you want to put inside, like a person or any other object, animal or whatever. I'd use this test piece, a Christmas ornament star, to apparently float in the middle of the holodeck, the backdrop holodeck, from its perspective, from its point of view. And the morphing effect is what's going to really make it pop into the center, apparently into the center of the backdrop holodeck. Once again, this is the photographic 18 viewing angle portal. You can call this a portal. It's the outside is the cloak and the interior holodeck. This is a complete 26 viewing angle portal, photographic portal. These are all low-tech visual intersections of reality, of a visual reality. Now on to televisual, telepresent portals. And again, this is a picture. I haven't built one yet. Probably never will. But this is a visual reality, the outside environment. This is a cartoon illustration of an outside environment. You take a boundary of space, and then you concentrate it. Say you wanted to make yourself invisible. You take a boundary of space, an imaginary boundary, but it becomes real when you decide to concentrate it. You separate it, but it's still connected by wiring, electronic, optical, electronic wiring of some sort. in whatever way you can manage to get this light to go through one side into the virtual cloaking interface and out to the other side, which I have my own ideas using modified light field optics, which are 3D pixels. And this is a cloaking interface. It's virtual. This is where you would exist in the real holodeck of some other distant portal, televisual telepresent portal. And say you had their holodeck instead of them sharing yours, then this would be different from the outside environment here. This is the inside virtual environment. That's the reason it's all orange. It's supposed to depict virtual light. Virtual, real holodeck, virtual holodeck. Sort of messed up on that. That's supposed to be backwards. I'm sorry about that. The image right here is supposed to be in virtual form backwards, but you can imagine this already brought through to another holodeck and it being forward again. So just imagine that backwards. This is the televisual realm of a virtual reality's intersection, and it requires these three interfaces: the cloaking interface, which sends light through, and also connects to this if this used the outer reality here, the outer visual reality, but it's using Alice's some distant portal, television portal, and it's already fed into her background, and he exists in hers in virtual form, and he transmits over to her, and it goes in a cycle. I'll try to put a link to a good description of a mirror world topology that describes this: real world, virtual world, real world, virtual world, back to real world, virtual world, real world, virtual world. I'll try to put a link on here, and please read this entire description too. And please like and subscribe. And so another thing about this is that the idea of making space invisible. Again, you want to make yourself invisible, but are you making yourself invisible or the space invisible? I contend that the generalized spherical form of a cloak, it could be a square or a cube or anything like that, it negates your identity as an object. It's a space that's a concern, because it negates your physical form, your visual form. You're completely invisible. And so is the environment, the space in this volume of space, this patch of space. So I contend that you're making space invisible, not just the object, but the whole space. And that is something to say about reality, or visual reality, at least as a whole. And but the question is, what's actually being made invisible? Is it the concentrated volume of the space that was here, which if he had his own reality? Or is it the void, which is the concentrated reality, the concentrated hidden reality of nothing, of no visual reality? Or is it the concentrated reality that's being sent through from the back end of this visual reality? Because in every sense, there's three different types of invisible spaces. There's this virtual reality that's in here, had he used this holodeck environment. There's a virtual reality that's in here that sends light through, but it's also the backdrop, the background of virtual reality. So there's the visual reality, the void, and the concentrated visual reality, which is also the backdrop reality of the outer reality. So it goes in sort of a loop, I guess. And lastly, the thing that I'd like to say is that when you can get a televisual telepresent portal to entangle and instantly transmit its holodeck environment to the other visual telepresent portal, that qualifies it as a cosmic portal because it's entangled. It's instantaneously transmitting its information, visual information, over whatever distance, and that's entanglement. That qualifies a televisual portal as a cosmic portal. And I believe a bunch of other properties go along with that, which is, I guess, beyond the scope of this current explanation. Well, I hope you stuck around and lasted long enough to view all this and read the explanation too, because it might explain it better than what I've done, because I'm always nervous slightly when I'm making a video. So, thanks a lot.